everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and I am here today with a book haul. This is a collective book haul that has been accumulating over the last couple of months. Some of these are birthday gifts, some of these are book of the month books, but I just wanted to share because who doesn't love a book haul, you know? Who doesn't love a book haul? So let me just jump right into it. I'm gonna start with the two books that I got from book of the month this month. So the first one that I got this month was an add-on. This is Water Baby by Chioma Okereke. This is a book that takes place in Nigeria, and I love reading books that take place in Nigeria or by Nigerian authors because my wife is half Nigerian. So I really love reading about that culture. So this is about an island in Lagos, Nigeria, which is actually where my wife and her family are from. There is a floating community, basically. It's off of the mainland of Lagos, and it is called Makoko. And this is about that area. If you like cooking shows, or you like Anthony Bourdain, he does a really good one about Nigeria, and you can see Makoko in that show. It is about this 19-year-old girl who is trying to escape for a better future because this island, it is considered like the slums. That's what they call it in the description. So she is trying to find better opportunities for herself in order to get out of this community. So she starts working for a drone mapping project apparently, and it's supposedly supposed to be for broadening the visibility of her community. And then she ends up making, or is she in? Yeah, so she ends up in a video at work and the video goes viral. So she is suddenly presented with all of these opportunities, and she is basically just trying to figure out what to do, if she is going to, you know, leave, if she is going to help her community, try to represent her community in other places in the world. This is just a coming of age, trying to figure out what her path is with all of this kind of newfound opportunity and success. So that is Water Baby. I am so excited to read this, and the author herself was born in Nigeria and grew up in London. So that is super cool. I cannot wait to read this one. The book that I picked for my actual book of the month is Every Sweet Thing is Bitter. I think this is either a domestic thriller or contemporary fiction. Whenever I pick my book of the month books, other than that one, because I read the description right away because I noticed what it was about, I tend not to read the description. I'll just see the genre and then kind of those four little points they put at the bottom, which I'll put right here. Usually I just pick based off that and I don't really read the description as much, but I am gonna look a little bit at this one. So yes, this is a suspense, and this is basically about a woman who gets a chance to redeem herself after running over her mother with a car. Despite her mother surviving, she became a felon. She went to jail, I'm guessing, right? I mean, I can't imagine that she didn't go to jail. This is in present day, but 13 years prior, when this woman, her name is Providence, she ran over her mother with a car in a fit of teenage madness, it's saying. Her mother survived, but obviously this made her a felon. It says irrevocably altered her life, which yes. But then years later, her mother disappears under suspicious circumstances, and Providence has to return home to try to figure out what happened to her mother. She is also confronting her abusive father, and she is exploring these like family secrets, trying to discover what her relationship could be with her younger sisters. But this is marketed as a suspense, so I'm guessing it is pretty fast-paced, twisty, but I love a domestic thriller. The premise of this is insane. Like, she ran over her mom with a car, the mom survived, and now she's coming back because the mom disappeared. Like, what in the hell? I am very curious to see how this goes. I love a domestic thriller. Ones that are marketed as suspense can go either way for me because I am a sucker for a slow burn mystery, but looking forward to giving that one a chance and seeing how it goes. This next book was one that my wife got me for my birthday. This is Hers for the Weekend by Helena Greer. This is a sapphic romance. It's fake dating, and I love it because Helena Greer, in her author's little description, it says, Helena Greer writes contemporary romance novels that answer the question, what if this beloved trope were gay? And that is a question I ask myself all the time. We need more of that. So this is a fake dating, like I said. It's about Tara. She's from the South. She's trying to make partner at her law firm. She was just invited to her ex's wedding, who totally humiliated her in the breakup apparently. She doesn't want to go alone, so she tells the girl, I'm bringing like my super serious girlfriend, but she doesn't have a serious girlfriend. She ends up meeting this girl, Holly. They end up fake dating to go to this wedding together, and obviously they are likely gonna turn into a little bit more than fake dating. The cover is so cute. So yeah, I cannot wait for this one. Just a cute, classic, gay, fake dating, fluffy romance book. Love to have those. This one is so random. So I've read 2 Colleen Hoover books and I was not a fan of them personally. Her writing and her books are just typically not for me, but I had to pick up this one November 9th. And the reason why I picked this up is because we got married on November 9th. That is my wedding anniversary. So it's like, I almost want to like display it. The story's probably fucked up. So like her books usually are. I believe that this is about Fallon, and she meets this author, Ben, and she meets him the night before she's about to move cross country. So I'm guessing they have like some kind of one night stand. Then she moves, obviously, and then they end up meeting every year on November 9th and having one day together. But then she finds out that Ben has been lying about stuff, and it gets a little bit like twisty and turny, it seems. She's trying to figure out if he's told her the truth. And you are following them on different November 9ths, I believe, and it is a dual POV. So I have to read this just for the title alone. I don't know if I'm gonna love the book, but giving it a try because it's November 9th. This is one that my wife got me for my birthday. This is Sing, Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. I think this is historical. It doesn't say what year. Yeah, it says historic, but it doesn't say what year. And it is about a family who is going from their town off the Gulf Coast to the Mississippi Penitentiary. I don't know why they're going there. It doesn't say. I'm gonna go in a little bit blind. It says that it is focusing on the emotional bonds of the family. The family is apparently, they've just experienced a big loss. It says the trip is fraught with danger, and that it is the primary themes are connection, meaning, and healing. So I'm very, very interested to start this one. The font is massive, so this is going to be a really quick read. My wife and I will read books out loud to her before bed, or just like anytime really, and I think this would be a really, really good one for that, because like I said, the font is big. It looks like it's about, you know, like a journey and a family. It is multiple points of view, which is fantastic. I love that, especially in a family book. It was published in like 2017, I think, or something, so I'm surprised that I have not read this yet, but I am looking forward to it. I think that this author also wrote Let Us Descend, which I have not read yet either, but looking forward to that one. This one I got from Pango. I sold a couple of books and then I just ended up buying a couple of books. This is This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino. I don't know anything about this book. I bought it because I read Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino, and I absolutely loved that book. I gave it 4 stars. It was so fast paced and it read like a movie, and I just wanted to read more of this author's writing. The blurb just says there are 2 sides to every love story and every breakup. I think that this is about a divorce. Yes, this is about Danielle and Alex, who are getting a divorce, and they are reflecting on their last 20 years of marriage, and I'm guessing just trying to figure out their relationship and going over the past and what happened. I just, like I said, as you can see from these books, I love a family drama, so I'm very excited for this one. I'm mainly excited because it is Renee Carlino, and I had such a good experience with her book before, so looking forward to this one. This is another one that my wife got me for my birthday. This is called The Empress by Kristen Cass. This is a YA fantasy, and look at these. Look at these pretty red sprayed edges. So this is about tarot, like if the tarot cards were to come to life. So in this book, the major arcana, which are the tarot cards that are not like the Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, they're like the sun, the moon, the whatever, they are real in this book. So she found in, I don't know this main girl's name, but the main girl finds a tarot card, she picks it up, and she goes into Towerfall, which is the world where tarot cards are real. This book has such such a low rating on Goodreads, like 3.04, which is kind of disastrous, but I don't care. I'll read anything that is about zodiac or tarot. I think that this ends up being a dark romance. It ends up being a fake marriage. It says he's a ruthless, battle-scarred warrior with a dark past, and she's stuck pretending to be his wife to save a fantasy kingdom. I don't know. This could go either way, but like I said, anything with tarot references, because I do love reading tarot, I am going to give a try, and I actually could not pass up this cover. So very curious to see how that goes. Next one was another birthday gift. This is the Book Club Hotel by Sarah Morgan, another one whose cover I am obsessed with. This is about a group of girlfriends. I think that they're in their like late 30s or early 40s. They go to this inn called the Maple Sugar Inn. It's a boutique hotel that I think one of the friends restored. And so her friends come in and check in for a book club holiday. And I guess they're just intending on going here to read their books over the holiday and have a cute, chill, fun, vibey time. And it seems that the main conflict in the book is just that all of these women are going through their own life struggles and trying to show up in their friendships as they've grown up and grown kind of into different people. Obviously, when you have lifelong friends, those dynamics really come into play. I love reading about female friendships. I love that this is just like about a group of women. There's definitely going to be some drama and some tea. So super excited for the Book Club Hotel. So this is another birthday gift. This is The Candy House by Jennifer Egan. I picked up this book because I have A Visit from the Goon Squad, her other book, for so long, and I haven't read it. The premise hasn't inspired me, I guess, but then my mom was telling me about this one, which takes place in the same world. And this is about a company that has been able to store every memory that anyone has ever had, and then you are able to access the memories of people whom you've lost in life. Really, really interesting premise. He creates the software called Own Your Unconscious. It allows you to access all of your memories, share your own in exchange for the memories of others, but then there are people who are kind of suspect of this. This can't, come for free. What do you sacrifice when you do this? And they're trying to figure that out. It says that there is an array of narrative styles, so I'm guessing that this is multiple points of view. Yeah, and I think that you are watching these characters go through and decide if they are going to get into this software, if they're going to share their memories, if they're going to access other people's memories, kind of the, intricacies of how that process works. So it's a little bit dystopian. I'm super, super curious. The cover is also incredible. So I don't think you have to read Goon Squad first. So I think I'm probably gonna read this one and then read that as if it's like a prequel or something. So I will be reading this one soon for sure, and hopefully including it in an upcoming vlog. So look for that. This is another birthday gift. This is a YA sapphic romance called Loverbirds. It is a rivals to lovers YA story. I love queer YA lit because as a young person myself, I was seeking that out and there was not a lot of it at the time. So I am always trying to read and review queer YA lit so that I can spread, that word that I wish that I had. This is a romance between Lou and Isabel. They're rivals at first. One of them has ADHD and she is just coming out. And then the other girl has been out for a long time. She's kind of like the snotty rich girl. They don't seem like they would mesh, but they do. Really, really excited for this one. I love that there is like neurodivergent representation and stuff. So that is Loverbirds. This is another one that my wife got me. She has read this book and she really wants me to read it. This is called Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I have no idea what this is about. She just told me, hey, I want you to read it. And so I was like, okay, done. So this is a historical that takes place in 1937. It's a Southern love story. You're following Janie Crawford, who is like a super independent woman, especially at the time. She's been married 3 times. Her life has been a lot of trials and tribulations, and you are following her and her story, it seems. So that is really interesting, going to be more of like a character study type of book, historical. Really excited about that one. This is another one I got off of Pango. I have been looking at this book for years, like a couple of years since I started really getting into reading again. I found it on Pango. So this is The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I have not read a Simone St. James yet. I have heard mixed reviews of her books, but I'm very curious to try her for myself. So this is a dual timeline in 1982 and 2017. The 1982, you're following this character named Viv who's trying to move to New York City. So she takes a job at the Sundown Motel, but something's not right. It seems like creepy and weird. And then in 2017, you're following her niece, Carly, who has never been able to let go of the story of her aunt who mysteriously disappeared from the Sundown Motel before she was born. So Carly decides to move there and visit the motel, and she is basically trying to figure out these mysteries and trying not to get sucked into the danger herself. This sounds so good. I cannot wait to read this. I love a dual timeline. Everything about this is just screaming yes for me. I think this actually might be my next read. So this is another one that my wife got me for my birthday. This is a memoir. It's called A History of Scars by Laura Lee. Laura Lee, so she is a queer woman with schizophrenia, and this is her memoir. She is talking about just her experiences with mental health, family stuff, trauma, sexuality. Really, really interesting. She is Asian American, I believe, so I'm sure that that plays a role in the book as well. But it's a short one. It is just a little memoir. I don't read a whole lot of memoirs, but I really, really want to get into reading more memoir and nonfiction. So this is perfect. Next, my wife got me this signed edition of Swan Song by Ellen Hildebrandt. I read The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hildebrandt last year and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was so good. All of the family drama and the points of view and the tea. It was just so good. I've been waiting till the summer to read her books because I mean, her books are just so summery. This is just about a couple who lives in this Nantucket town that she writes about. People are questioning how do they make their money, what is going on with their life. It's just a domestic couple drama that takes place in Nantucket. Ellen Hildebrandt's writing is just so engaging. I really, really enjoy it. So this is a great one, and I love that it is signed by Miss Ellen herself. So very cool. This was another one my wife got me for my birthday. Clearly she's an amazing wife. Look at all these birthday books. This is Fantastic Land. This is a horror book that I heard about from Kirsten, who I'll link her channel down below. She does like book videos and other stuff. She said that this was one of her favorite horror books, and I know she reads a lot of horror and thrillers. This is about a amusement park where clearly some shit happened. I don't really know all that much. I know though that it is told in interview style, and they are interviewing either like the victims, the survivors of whatever happened at this creepy amusement park. I don't know, but when I need just like a quick and easy palate cleanser read, this is gonna be perfect. It is so small, and like I said, it's told mostly in interviews, and that kind of writing I can just fly through. So sounds like a really good horror thriller. This is called Girl Falling. So this one, look at the cover. This is about a girl who tragically lost her girlfriend in, I think, like a rock climbing incident. Yeah, in a rock climbing accident. Oh, so she is rock climbing with her best friend and her girlfriend falls and dies, and then she is trying to figure out these kind of mysteries that surround her ex-girlfriend and her best friend, and there is some suspicion as to whether or not the death was an accident. I don't know, it sounds really crazy and like kind of all over the place, but very curious to get into that one. Next is Thirsty by Jazz Hammonds. Jazz Hammonds is the author of We Deserve Monuments, which was one of my top books of 2023. It was 5 stars for me. I absolutely love it. This I think was her 2024 release or early 2025. This is another queer book. You're following Blake and her girlfriend Ella. There is a sorority called the Serena Society that they're trying to joined because it is a network for women of color at college. Ella seems to be like really comfortable with like going into these situations, and Blake has a lot of anxiety, so she starts drinking a lot, and you're basically following like how she is managing this anxiety with alcohol and how it is starting to affect her life and affect her academics and things like that. It sounds really interesting. The cover is gorgeous, and Jazz Hammonds, I had a great experience with her book before, so this one I'm sure is going to be really, really good. And finally, I am at my last book. So last book I have here is This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. So crazy story about this is that it came out in like late March. I think it came out, I'm gonna actually look it up. Yeah, so this came out March 25th, and we were at Barnes & Noble on my birthday, March 17th, and this book was out. And I was like, wait, this is not supposed to be out yet. I didn't even know if I was going to buy the physical copy of this, but when I saw it out so early, it felt like I had to. This is one of those books that kind of is reminiscent to me of Bright Young Women, which I read last year, which is a somewhat fictional take on a real life true crime case that happened. This is one that surrounds the Idaho murders that happened a couple of years ago, and it's following this character Jane, whose father just passed away, but then the Idaho case happens, and she kind of channels her grief into becoming like obsessed with the case and trying to figure things out about the case with these like internet sleuths, and it is really interesting. I am really curious as to how this ends up going. I've heard very mixed reviews, and I know a lot of people feel a little bit questionable about true crime cases being in fiction books. I agree with that. Bright Young Women was okay to me. I gave it 3 stars. It was told very tastefully, I will say that. It wasn't like objectifying the case in any way. I don't know how this one will go, but I'm very curious about the premise, so I am gonna give it a shot. That is everything that I have for this book haul today. I hope that you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you like book videos, and keep an eye out for these books in future vlogs, and I will see you in my next one.